Hello friends, my name is Harish and we are continuing to learn Kubernetes and following our previous lecture that was about volumes and persistent volumes. So in this lab, today what we are going to do, we are going to set up persistent volumes and persistent volume claims. And persistent volumes, if you remember, they are the storage that is available to a Kubernetes cluster, and persistent volume claims enable pods to access persistent volumes. So without persistent volume claims, pods are mostly ephemeral, so you have to use persistent volume claims for any data that you expect to survive pod scaling, updating, or migrating. So today we are going to learn how it can be done, and we are going to create all of that together today. So let's get started. And as always, I'm going to set up few of environment variable like export. First I will set my zone, and I'm going to set it to US Central 1-A. And as you can maybe see behind, I have a cluster which is created, so I'm going to set that name as well. And export my cluster, that is standard hyphen cluster hyphen 1. So once we are done with setting the variables, so as you know, in previous tutorials also, so we had to connect our kubectl with our cluster. So I'm going to fire that command to get the credentials out and get it attached to my kubectl. So if you remember, the command is gcloud container clusters get credentials, and then the name of my cluster, that is my cluster variable, and also I need to give the zone, and that is the zone. So once we fire this, it's going to authorize, and I think I made some mistake in the name somewhere. gcloud container cluster, what is it saying? The command, the required property project is not, oh okay, so I need to set the project as well. So to do that, let's do gcloud config list project, and it's going to give us details. So it's nothing is set, the value is not set here. So I'm going to set that project ID, and if you want, you can copy this project ID from the console and just fire this command gcloud config set project and the ID. And once the ID is done, let's do that credential command again, same gcloud container cluster get credentials, and then and this time it's able to get the configuration generated, and it's now connected to our cluster 1. So now what we are going to do, we are going to create a PVC, that is persistent volume claim. And most of the time you do not have to directly configure persistent volume object or create a compute engine persistent disk. Instead, you can create a persistent volume claim, and Kubernetes will automatically provision a persistent disk for you. And to do that, I have a YAML file, so let me show you that. Let me clear this first and move it a little bit above, get more space for my nano, and my so here, so this is my manifest for creating persistent volume claim. So I am creating a kind which is this volume claim, and this is the name of that claim. And also I am telling that get me a 30 GB disk, and it should be read and write, both of them should be available. So let's go out and let's fire a command and apply this. So the command is kubectl get, and let's before we apply it, let's check if there is any persistent volume claim which is there. So it's persistent volume claim. So we are checking with kubectl that if there is any persistent volume claim already available. So currently there is nothing available, so we are going to apply this object manifest, and that is kubectl. As we always do, we are going to apply it with pvc demo yaml. Okay, I think oh yes, typing mistake, it's kubectl, not ctle. Okay, so this time it's going to create that, and if I do that get command again, this time we have a disk available, that claim available. So hello web disk, that was the name which we give, and the volume and its capacity and its write. So all this is done behind the scene for you, and this is how you can create a persistent volume claim. So now, as a next step, we are going to mount and verify whether this persistent volume claim is available and can be used in a pod. And to do that, we have or I have created an manifest file for my pod. So let's check that. So again, nano, it's pod volume demo. So here there is nothing crazy here. It's just a kind of pod and the version and the name, and the important part here is this volume part here. So what it is doing, or what I'm writing here, is that this is pvc demo volume, and this is the claim name. And if you remember, previously when we created in the metadata, we gave this name, and this is how it's going to ask for this claim when the pod is created, right? So let's go out, and again we have to do kubectl apply -f and the pod volume demo. So now the pod is created, and if I check kubectl get pods, so now our pod is getting created. Right now it's not created yet, it's not in ready state, it's still creating. Now to check, to verify the PVC is accessible within the pod, we have to gain shell access to our pod, and to start a shell session, we can do kubectl exec command, and that is this. So what I am doing with this is I am logging into the pod which we created just now. Its name is demo and pod and --sh. So with this we are okay. Oh, there should be a space, --sh. So we are going to log in into our pod. So now we are inside our pod, and we are going to check whether our disk is properly mounted or not. So to do that, let's write this echo message here as a index.html, and then make it executable, and let's check whether it's properly created or not. Yes. So what I have done, I have just created a web HTML file inside my pod, so that we will be able to see whether it's running properly or not. Now let's exit out of this pod. So to exit, just type exit, and now let's test whether it's the file which we created inside our pod has been properly written to our persistent disk or not. So to do that, to check that, so let's just delete our pod, and the pod is cube. To delete the pod, we have to do kubectl delete and the pod name. So let me say that again. So what we did, we created a persistent volume claim, then we created a pod, and then we mounted that disk on our pod. We went inside pod and we wrote a HTML file in that persistent disk, and then we deleted our pod. So now we do not have any pod available. So now since the pod is gone, but still the persistent disk should persist the file which we created, and that should not have been deleted if the pod is deleted. And now we are going to test that whether it's properly available or not. And again, to check that persistent volume claim is still there. So yes, our persistent volume disk is still there, and pod is gone, but the disk is still available. So now let's deploy our pod again. So we are creating a pod, and this time it's a new pod, so it's not the old one. So because we deleted the old pod, so the old pod was gone and the new pod is created. Now it is running, and now let's test whether our disk is available or not, or the file which we write. And to do that, let's log in again, or sh again inside into our pod. And what we are going to do, we are going to output the HTML file which we created earlier. So if you remember, we wrote it to var www.html index.html, and if I fire this, so this time yes, it was persisted and it is available in the pod. So you saw I did not create this file again in the new pod, but still my new pod is able to access that file and able to output that index.html file. So this is how the persistent volume claim can be used by pod, and the data can persist inside our pod. So now let's get out of it. So now as a next step, let's try to create some stateful sets with the persistent volume claim. So what we are going to do, we are going to use our persistent volume claim that we have created in a stateful set. And a stateful set is like a deployment or the pod created, except that a pod are given unique identifier. So every time you create a pod, there will be a unique identifier given to our pod. So before we go forward, let's delete our previous pod which we created. And to delete, I think I wrote one command, yes. So now we do not have any pod, and to verify that, let's do that kubectl get pods. So now we do not have any pod remaining, and we are going to create a stateful set. And to do that as well, I have a manifest file. So let's check inside that what is there. So now here what I am doing, I am creating a, so read it from bottom to up. So what is happening here, I am creating a stateful set and then stateful set demo. And if I go down, or maybe let's pull it up so that we have more space here. Okay, let's take it to the top. Okay, so I am creating a stateful set, and this is the name of that. And inside this I have more definition, and the important part is this claim here, the volume mount. So I am getting that hello web disk, the disk which we created, and I am mounting that var www html path inside that. And also what is more inside this is I am also creating a service. So I am writing both the things, like the service creation and the pod creation or the stateful set creation inside the same file. So what it will do, it will create a service as well, and then it will expose that stateful set on for this stateful set which we are creating. So let's go out, and now we are going to fire or apply this stateful set manifest, and that is kubectl apply -f. Oh yes, I mean kubectl apply. So now it created a service and it also created a stateful set. Now let's verify the connection of pods in stateful set, and to do that you can fire this command kubectl describe stateful set and the name of the stateful set object. Now note the event status at the end of the output. Now note the event status at the end of the output. The service and stateful sets are created successfully. And now let's try to list the pods. So here we have 3 pods running, demo 01 and 0, 1 and 2. And also let's try list the PVCs. So here we have 3 PVCs created for them. So the original hello web disk is still there, and you can now see the individual PVCs that were created for each pod in the new stateful set pod. So if we do a describe for this stateful set demo 0, this one, we will get more information. So you can see it's a from persistent volume controller, and all more information you can see for that PVC. So now, as we did earlier, we again will gain access to the or we will log in into the pod, and we will create another index file there, and we will see and if it is getting persisted properly or not. So let's do this kubectl exec command and stateful set demo 0. So if you remember, this is our one of the pod which is running here. So I am going to sh into it, and then let's see this one. So there is no index file because it's a new PVC which is created for this pod, so hence it's not there. So I am going to fire the same exact commands which we did earlier, that is echo test web page in a persistent volume index.html. So and then make it executable. And if I do this cat command again, I can't do it. I have to copy it from my notes, so it's not allowing me to go up. Okay, so now the test page web page is available there. So now let's do a exit, and what I am going to do, I am going to delete that pod. kubectl get pods. So if you see, we have these 3 pods running. I'm just simply going to delete this stateful set demo 0. So now my pod is gone, and if I do kubectl get pods again and wait for this to finish first, and if I do get pods, so here you see the status is container is recreating. So if you remember, because we created this as a stateful set, so it is going to get created again, and if we connect to that pod again, and if I do that cat index file again, I should be able to see that page again. Yes, so because I deleted it, Kubernetes created it again and also mounted the same stateful PVC, the persistent volume, to that, and the volume get attached, and from there I am able to get my data back again. So the stateful set restarts the pod and reconnects the existing dedicated PVC to the new pod, ensuring that the data for the pod is preserved. So it was a very simple demo where we saw how we can create persistent volume claims and how we can attach it to an individual pod, and also we saw how to create a stateful set, and then how it can be used to attach a individual PVCs for each stateful set. And if the container gets deleted, Kubernetes is going to restart it. And attach that PVC which is created for that pod or the stateful set to that particular stateful set. So that's all for today. See you in the next chapter. Bye bye.